Hi guys, this is Shelly with Shelly Cooks. I'm about to make a really quick dinner for this evening. I've been busy today, didn't have a lot of time. So I took a chicken out, a whole chicken out, and I cut it into pieces. And this is going to be the basis for the dinner. It's going to be a chicken sheet pan dinner. So all on one sheet pan, or you can use one of your larger lasagna pans, whatever you like. And you put it all in at once and it cooks at once. One pan makes it nice and easy for cleanup as well. So let's get started. So the first thing, because I'm a little late getting this started, as I said, I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to actually, a sharp knife, and I'm going to puncture holes in all of my chicken pieces so that the marinade that I'm preparing can work its way in a lot faster. I wouldn't have to do this if I had time to marinate it and pop it into the fridge for a few hours, but I don't. So I'm going to put a lot of little slits in the chicken for the marinade to go into it. Okay, there we are. Especially this thigh and leg. I want to make sure I get lots of good seasoning into that part. And turn it over. And I'm going to make the marinade, which is really, really simple. It's even more simple for me because, as you know, I like to freeze my garlic. I'll process it and freeze it, and so I don't have to even bother with that. Just one second, I'm going to wash my hands here. Before I start cooking, I always make sure that I have a nice sink of hot soapy water all set to go. So that's the start for that. Now I'm going to grab a measuring cup. This is super fast. And I'm using olive oil. You can use avocado oil if you like. I'm going to put a half a cup of olive oil in. This is coming out really, really slow. These little stoppers, I'll tell you. And I'm in a rush, so let me see if I can get it going a little faster. There we go. So I've got a half a cup of avocado, I keep saying avocado because I use it so much. And to that, I'm going to add, let's start with the seasonings first. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons, or let's do 1.5. 1.5 to 2. If I need more, we can add it at the table. I'd rather less than more. And that's teaspoons of salt. I'm going to do a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to do, this is sort of like a Mediterranean Greek flavorings. So I'm going to do 2 teaspoons, or let's do 1.5 again, of oregano. I really don't measure this stuff often. So, and this is dried thyme. It's ground up, so I'm going to do 1 of those. And then we're going to do a few, let's do a good, that's about a teaspoon and a half of the Dijon Mustard. Okay. And now to all of this, I'm going to add some lemon juice. How much? I'm not quite sure. I'll give you an idea when I put it in. So I'm just going to juice this lemon. And I'm juicing it in a bowl in case there are seeds. I don't want to do it directly in the measuring cup. So I would say it's probably going to be about 1/4 cup that I'm going to end up using of lemon juice. And I'll pull out another measuring cup just to be sure so that I can write it down below for you. There we go. So I'll put that there for now. Let me grab another measuring cup and we'll see how much we have here. So while this is marinating, we are going to prepare our vegetables that will go with this. And so I'll be peeling some potatoes. I have some carrots. I have some beans that I want to use up. So I'll be using those, and red pepper and onion. So while this is marinating, we'll be getting those all set. So this here's about a little tiny bit more than 1/4 cup, but not much. And also, before I forget, I'm going to be putting in about, that is probably about 3 cloves of garlic that I have minced up. And we're going to give this all a really good stir. That looks fantastic already. And there. So we're going to use about 2/3 of this on our chicken marinade right now, and the rest of it we'll actually put on our vegetables when we put them on the bottom of the tray. Okay, so let's just rub this all over. Remember, we put some holes in the slits in the chicken with the knife so that we can make sure that it got in there and really permeated the chicken. There we go. And we've been enjoying this one for quite a while. And I thought that since I was doing it tonight, I would share it with you. I think that is looking pretty daggone good. So I'm just going to set this aside. I'm not even going to refrigerate this. I am just going to set this aside while we prepare our vegetables. Okay, this over here. It's only going to be about 10-15 minutes that it has to marinate, which is exactly why I use the knife to put some cuts in it to get some of that marinade into the meat. Okay guys, so I've prepared my potatoes. So here I have some potatoes that I cut up into about, I don't know, 1.5 inch chunks. Some carrots as well that I cut up. And here are my green and yellow beans that I've, removed the tip from and washed well. So what I have left here now are just my onions and my pepper. I also cut the peppers up. So they're at about 2-inch pieces, give or take. So now the onions, I'm just going to cut these in slices. Thick slices sort of thing. The recipe that I normally use tomatoes with it, but I do not have any tomatoes, and that's fine because I have some that I've canned, and I'm just going to put some of those in there. That'll be just fine. Okay, we're almost ready. Oh yeah, and I have preheated my oven to 425. So the first time it goes in for, I think I'm usually about 30-35 minutes, and then you'll check it. And then after that, you will just keep checking it to make sure that it's cooked through. So here we go. I'm just going to put the onions on here first. Could have done this a better way, I think. And peppers. Whoops, sorry for that noise. Now I'm going to take our beans, which are quite tender, and normally I wouldn't use these. Normally I would use something like broccoli or cauliflower, but they are starting to get a little soft, and I am going to use them up. So there they go. Now we've got our potatoes and carrots, and these are all going on the same cookie sheet. There we go. Put that in there. And now we're going to take the marinade that we have. We use 2/3 of it with the chicken, and this last 1/3 we're just going to put all over these veggies and rub it in really well with your hands. It's totally fine to use your hands as long as they're clean. Whoopsie. There we go. Let's get that rubbed in there pretty good with all of these. There we go. So now we're going to pull our chicken back in, and we're just going to sort of put the chicken on top or nestle it in wherever you can. I actually prefer to nestle it in because then it gets some coloring on it from being on the bottom. And then just put the veggies and things all around it. There we go. It could even go on top. That's totally fine. The vegetables can go on top of the chicken a bit, and that is totally, totally fine. but try to have the chicken in contact with the bottom of the pan. If you can. If you can't, that's totally fine too. It will still cook, and it will still taste delicious. There we go. So as all of this cooks, of course, it's going to shrink down a bit in size, the veggies and that sort of thing. Oh, that looks wonderful already. And now I'm just going to drizzle the rest of this marinade all over this. Perfect. Ah, awesome. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these delicious tomatoes that we canned a while ago, and we're just going to put them all over as well. Just make sure you don't touch the chicken with it now. If you're not going to be using all of these tomatoes, just make sure that it doesn't come in contact with the chicken to contaminate it. I plan on using them all, so I'm not too worried. Canning tomatoes are, I use so much of these throughout the year. It's one of the best things that I do for myself in terms of making things easier in the kitchen and less expensive. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. The last thing I'm going to use that I've never used before, but I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of green on it. This here is actually a wild garlic that my son got me when he was traveling. I've never used it before, so we'll see. And I'm going to wipe this up, guys. And we're just waiting for the oven to let us know it's preheated. And that is that. Delicious dinner. It really didn't take any time to prepare the marinade or the vegetables. All goes in one pan so I can clean my kitchen up. And when we are ready to eat, the cleanup is going to be easy. So, hope you give it a try. It really is delicious. And make it your own. Put whatever veggies you like in it. Use sweet potato, use whatever you like. The marinade is really what makes this dish. So, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video.